Welcome to the results video for UFC 314, where we will find out which predictors performed the best and the worst, with a correct pick percentage, their return on investment and the longest losing or winning streaks. But first we'll look at the totals for this event and compare the Oddsmakers versus the Tapology community and the YouTube prediction channels. UFC 314 had a total of 13 fights. I tracked predictions from 126 channels and they made a total of 1528 predictions, for an average of 12.1 per channel. 1033 were correct for 67.6% and 495 incorrect for 32.4%. The favorite fighter in odds won 11 out of 13, which is a lot higher than what we've seen over the last couple of months. If you had placed a $100 bet on all the favorite fighters in odds to win their fight, you could have won $340 for a 26.2% return on investment. And the only two underdogs to win their fight were BennyPMMA with plus 180 and Dominic Reyes with plus 130. And had you placed that same $100 bet on the money line for all the underdogs, you could have lost $790 for a minus 60.8% ROI. The favorite in picks by the Tapology community were the same as the favorite fighters in odds. So, the exact same results. What about the YouTube prediction channels? The favorite in picks by the YouTube prediction channels won 10 out of 13 times. All the picks were the same except for the main event. They had Diego Lopes as a favorite with 54% of all the picks. So their favorites won 10 out of 13 for a profit of $178 and a 13.7% return on investment. So for this event, the Tapology community and the Oddsmakers were best at predicting the outcomes of each fight. For the least and most correct picks, we will only look at channels that made predictions on at least half the fights, so a minimum of 7. Which channels had the least correct picks for this event? In 7th place, we have Sean from the Running Mouth MMA show. He made 12 predictions, 7 were correct for 58.3%. In 6th place is Santino from the Santino DeFranco podcast. He made 11 predictions, 6 were correct for 54.5%. In 5th place are the following 8 channels. All of them had 7 out of 13 correct for 53.8%. And you may recognize a few names that are normally one of the best predictors overall. But that just shows you can't win every week. In 4th place we have the following 7 channels with 6 out of 13 correct for 46.2%. In 3rd place, Kenny Okoye MMA and Brandon from the Santino DeFranco podcast. Both of them had 5 out of 13 correct for 38.5%. In 2nd place, for least correct picks, we have Sportsbook Killa with 4 out of 12 correct for 33.3%. And in 1st place, the channel with the least correct picks this week is HopperoMMA with 4 out of 13 picks correct for a 30.8% correct pick percentage. For the most correct picks, we start at number 3. And that is because in 4th place we had 20 channels, which is too much to show, but you can see them in the overview at the end of this part. In 3rd place we have BroNoCap. He made 9 predictions and 7 were correct for 77.8%. In 2nd place we have these 9 channels in alphabetical order with 11 out of 13 correct for 84.6%. And in 1st place for most correct picks this week we have the following 7 channels: Bedtime MMA, HopperoMMA, Knockout Picks, Leftlane MMA, MMADataGuy, shmo and Squeakypuff. And all of them had 12 out of 13 correct for 92.3%. So congratulations to all 7 of them and the rest of the channels with the most correct picks this week. Links to all of these channels can be found in the video description. And here is the overview of all 126 channels, including those that made less than 7 predictions, with their correct picks, their total picks and the correct pick percentage. If you enjoy the content and find it helpful or informative, then don't forget to like this video or subscribe. Thank you so much. For the most profitable and unprofitable predictors this week, we will only track channels that made picks on at least 50% of all the fights. Every pick counts, regardless of confidence level or odds preference. We place a $100 bet on each pick to win their fight, aka the money line. We calculate the results using the odds from the tail of the tape. The rankings are based on the return on investment percentage. At number 10 for most unprofitable predictor, we have the MMA fortune teller, with a loss of $324 for a minus 24.9% return on investment over his 13 predictions. At number 9 is Keith Schillen from Sherlock.com with a minus 29.2% return on investment. Baby Sharp MMA is at number 8 with minus 33.6% return on investment over his 13 predictions. In 7th place is Utica from BroStalk MMA. He lost $1 more than Baby Sharp MMA for minus $437 and also a minus 33.6% return on investment. The Mike Finn Show is in 5th place with minus $475 for a minus 36.5% ROI. In 5th place is Raybox from Start MMA with a minus 37% ROI. In 4th place is Brandon from the Santino DeFranco podcast with a minus 44.2% return on investment. Kenny Okoye MMA is in 3rd place with minus 48.4%. And in 2nd place for most unprofitable predictor we have the Sportsbook Killer with a return on investment of minus 52.5%. And in 1st place this week for most unprofitable predictor is also the channel with the least correct picks this week, which is HopperoMMA. Had you followed all of his picks and placed a $100 bet on each of them to win their fight, aka the money line, you could have lost $692 for a minus 53.2% return on investment. At number 8 for the most profitable predictor this week, we have the MMA Sensei. He made a profit of $289 over his 8 predictions for a return on investment of 36.2%. In 7th place is Fresh Start MMA with a profit of $514 over his 13 predictions for a return on investment of 39.5%. In 6th place is Paul from the Dogger Pass podcast with a return on investment of 33.8% over his 13 predictions. And with a return on investment of 0.1% higher, we have the MMADataGuy in 5th place. He made a profit of $1 more than Paul for $570 for a 33.9% return on investment. In 4th place is Sansu Tips. He made 8 predictions and made a return on investment of 45.4%. In 3rd place is Leftlane MMA. He made 13 predictions and had a profit of $620 for a 47.7% return on investment. Then, in 2nd place, we have HopperoMMA, shmo and Squeakypuff. All 3 of them made the exact same 13 predictions, and had you followed all of the picks of one of these channels, you could have won $688 for a 52.9% ROI. And then, in 1st place, the most profitable predictors, we have Bedtime MMA,
What it do?
and Knockout Picks. They made a profit of $2 more for $690 and a return on investment of 53% over their 13 picks. So, congratulations to all of these channels for being the most profitable predictors this week. Links to these channels can be found in the video description. And here is the overview of all 126 channels that made predictions this week, including those that made less than 7 predictions, with their total money won or lost and their return on investment percentage. Which channels are on the longest losing streak and keep losing week after week? On a 3-week losing streak, we have the following 7 channels in alphabetical order. Out of those 7 channels, Baby Sharp MMA, Eagle MMA and Harbor MMA are on a 4-week losing streak. Out of those 3 channels, only Baby Sharp MMA and Harbor MMA are on a 5-week losing streak. But there's only one channel that's on a 6-week losing streak, and that's Harbor MMA. And unfortunately for him, he's also on a 7-week and an 8-week losing streak. The longest winning streak will be a little bit shorter. On a 3-week winning streak, we have the following 14 channels in alphabetical order. And out of those 14 channels, only 3 channels are on a 4-week winning streak, which are BennyPMMA, R Parks and shmo. But none of them are on a 5-week winning streak. Hope you enjoyed the results video of the best and worst predictors this week. If you did or found it helpful, drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to support the channel while getting exclusive updates, consider becoming a Patreon supporter or a member on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you so much for watching, have a great week, and I will see you in the next video.